What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Fee, and welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. And you saw the title of this message, girl. Know when to walk away. So if you got a colleague, a friend, a family member who need to hear this, hit like and then hit share so your girlfriends can also be a part of this message. And so since I've started this message, it's a question that's often presented to me. And even before I started the ministry 2 years ago, this is a conversation me and my girlfriends used to have. And it's about when to stay and when to walk away. In other words, when to hold them, when to fold them. And for me, my answer has been consistent for probably over 20 years, and it has not changed. And I always have two surefire ways to know when you need to get out of a relationship. The first thing that I always tell women is to listen to your intuition. It sounds simple, but it's real talk. Listen to your intuition. And it's funny to me, our intuition is something that has been divinely designed by God. And the reason he designed this and gave this to women is to cover us, to keep us, and to protect us, and to lead us. And one thing about God, he's not going to lead you astray. Our intuition is like this internal alarm system that God integrated into our bodies. It tells us when to move forward. It tells us when to pause. It tells us when to stop. Okay? But the problem is not the intuition system doing its job. The problem is with us ignoring the alarm system. It's just like being in your house and your house be on fire and the fire alarm start going off, but you just keep sitting in bed like, I ain't think about that fire alarm. Just let it go off. Okay? And if that happens, usually if the fire alarm goes off and you don't get up and move, you probably gonna burn up. That's probably what's gonna happen. You cannot just go around ignoring alarm systems. You think about the traffic signal light. When it turns red, it's telling you need to pump your brakes. When it turns yellow, it's telling you need to slow down. And when it turns green, it's telling you to move forward. And our intuition operates in the same form and fashion. But we won't ignore a fire alarm. We won't ignore a traffic system. But the divine system that's been integrated into us, that's a surefire way to protect us, for some reason, we ignore that system. And ladies, that's something that we have got to stop. Because you think about, let's go back to that fire alarm again. If you ignore it, you're going to get burned up. Go back to that traffic signal again. If that light turn red and you don't stop, guess what's going to happen? You're going to crash. You're going to crash, sis. And it's the same way with our intuition. If our intuition is telling us to get out and to move or to stop, don't even enter the relationship, we're going to crash. Either we're going to crash mentally, we're going to crash emotionally. And when we crash mentally and emotionally, we automatically are going to crash physically. Okay? And so the results are still the same. We're going to crash. So that's my first surefire way of knowing when to walk away, and that's basically listening to your intuition, which is basically the voice of God telling you what to do and what not to do. The second thing is first thing, listen to God. Second thing, listen to the people that's very close to you. And I'm not talking about that girl that you probably hang out and eat lunch with, that you probably don't even deal with outside of work, but y'all in the break room telling y'all business, everything. That's not who I'm talking about. Or their friend that's really not a friend, that's just an associate that you call a friend. I'm not talking about people like that. I'm talking about tried and true friends. People who have been in your life for years. People who have proven to you that they down for you and they in your corner and they want to see you win and they want to see what's best for you. People like that who want what's best for you, they're going to always warn you that a storm is coming or that something is not right. But what we do, we have the tendency to say, oh, they hating on us or they getting jealous because I got a man, they ain't got a man, But it ain't that they jealous is or they hating on you. It's just that they don't want to see that girl go down like that, And so listen to those people, because sometimes people on the outside can see what the people on the inside cannot see. Okay, just like with me sitting inside of my house, I can see like right here around me, but I can't see what's going on around my yard. But somebody that's out on the street probably can see the whole outside of what's going on. And so we have to listen to those people. If those people have proven to really be down for us and to care about what's best for us, why would they all of a sudden out of the blue just come up with some lies? You know, I often think about one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's still my favorite movie. It's The Color Purple. And I never forget the little boy. He looked at Harpo. He looked up at the ceiling. He saw the hole in the ceiling. He saw the clouds. He looked back down at Harpo. And he said, it's going to rain on your head. You know the reason the little boy was able to say it's going to rain on your head? Because he was able to see what Harpo wasn't able to see. He was able to see Harpo standing right up under the hole. He was able to see the hole in the ceiling. And then he was able to see the clouds in the sky, that it was cloudy. So he told him, it's going to rain on your head. And that's what sometimes our family members, our friends, and our parents, and those people that love us, they try to do, because sometimes they can see what we can't see. We can't see because we so in love, and so we want so desperately to be with that person. So we can't see that that person is bad for us. We can't see that that relationship is toxic, but they can see it. They can see the hole in the relationship. They can see the hole in you, because usually when you're in a toxic relationship, it shows you're hurting. I never forget some years ago, and it's probably maybe 10 years ago, and I was just going through, when I say a thunderstorm in our marriage, my husband and I, we was like going through Hurricane Katrina in our marriage. Do you hear me? And my friend called me. This is about the time probably when FaceTime first came out, because she's in Houston. I'm in Mississippi. And this is about when FaceTime came out. So we was trying out this FaceTime thing, because we talked on the phone every day. But now we was able to chat and see each other. So she was looking at me and she said, how you doing, Fee? And I'm like, I'm good. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am. She said, no, your eyes are telling on you. She said, I can see sadness in your eyes. She said, I can hear the emotional breakdown in your voice. She said, it's not okay. She said, your eyes sees down to your soul. She said, you're not okay because I can see it in your eyes. And so she was able to see, even though I was putting on this fake facade, like, hey, girl, I'm okay, you know. And it wasn't that I didn't trust my best friend, and it wasn't that I didn't think that she wanted what was best for me. It was because I knew if I told her what was going on, she was going to be honest with me. And I didn't want to hear honesty at the time, because I just wanted to stay in it and hope for the best. And that's what we do sometimes. We want this toxic stuff to work out so bad, and it's not. It's not. Our intuition had already told us that months or years ago that it's not, and we didn't listen to it. And so we do the same thing, just like me. You know, I put on that little fake facade. That's what we do. We put on our fake eyelashes, we put on our fake hair and our makeup, and we pretend everything is okay, when actually inside we are dying. We are dying. It's time to walk away. And I just want to say, I know that it's difficult to walk away out of these toxic situations, especially when you have invested your time, especially when you have invested your heart, and you're really feeling this, brother. It's hard to walk away from somebody you feeling. It's almost like torture to walk away. But something that I always tell people, it's always two things in life. It's things that's necessary, or it's things that you want. So it's always a want and a need. The need is what's necessary. The want, you just want it. And so you have to tell yourself, even though I don't want to walk away, it's necessary that I walk away. It's mandatory that I walk away. Like at work, most of you who know me know I'm a nurse by trade. And for us to keep our license, we have to do what we call CEs. And then even on our job, we have to do what we call mandatory modules. And they always tell us these modules that we have to complete, they mandatory. So with mandatory, you won't have a choice. You can't say eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which one I'm going to do for sure. No, you're going to do all of these mandatory modules, because all of them are mandatory. Okay, it's no choice. But then we can go to seminars or webinars or something like that. That's a choice. Okay, we have a choice in that. But with our modules, they're mandatory. It's no choice. And so you have to tell yourself, this is mandatory for my peace, for my mind, for my emotions. I don't have a choice but to walk away. At the end of the day, I have to save me. At the end of the day, I have to love me. At the end of the day, I have to do what's best for me. And I'm telling you, and trust me, I understand it. When you're walking away from, before I married my husband now, I dated this guy in Arkansas. And when I tell you, I thought the sun rose and set on this brother. Oh my goodness, I thought the sun rose and set on him. And I'm so glad God took me out of that relationship, because I found out he's a cheater and an abuser. But anyway, I thought the sun rose and set on him. And it was just impossible for me to walk away. And so I made up my mind. I listened to my intuition and I walked away. But when I was walking away, it wasn't like it was a straight path I was walking on. It was almost like trying to climb a mountain. And if you've ever been anywhere and tried to climb a mountain, that's one of the most difficult things to do, is to go uphill when you're walking. Now, if you're walking flat, you're good. But when you start trying to walk uphill for a continued length of time, that journey gets hard. When I'm telling you, my husband and I, and my daughter, we took a hike up a mountain in Hawaii. And I told them I went to repenting on that mountain. I went to saying prayers on that mountain. I just knew I was going to have a heart attack on that mountain because it was difficult. But when I got to the top of the mountain, when I made it to the top, when I tell you the view was spectacular, the view was spectacular. To be able to see all over Honolulu, one of the most prettiest sights you ever want to see. Actually, me and my husband, we just went to down to Helen, Georgia, where we took a hike up the mountain. The same thing. The climb was difficult, but the view was worth it. And I'm trying to tell you that when you walk away out of this toxic relationship, it's not going to be easy. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like it is. It's going to be a difficult feat. But when you make it to the top of being relieved of that toxic relationship, it's going to be beautiful. You're going to have peace. You're going to be mentally stable. You're going to be emotionally stable. You're going to be able to just enjoy life. Because when we're in these toxic relationships, we're not even enjoying life. We just existing day by day, just hoping every day that it's going to get better the next day. And it doesn't. If you just look at it, you see that it doesn't get better. But when I tell you, when you make it out of it, the life that you begin to experience will be beautiful. You will be able to heal. You'll be able to be made whole. You'll be able to experience a joy that even the world can't take away from you when you get out of these toxic relationships. You'll start seeing the world even in a different light. You know, you'll start back having that fun again like you used to. When you're not in a toxic relationship, life just gets better for you. You're not in any pain. You don't have to worry about crying yourself to sleep. You don't have to cry anymore. You don't have to be sad all the time. You don't have to be depressed. It's a whole new world. So sis, I just want to tell you, make it to the top of the mountain. When you get out the toxic relationship, that's what it's like. Make it to the top. Do what you got to do. You may even have to stop along the way. So even when I was climbing my mountain, there was days or weeks. Sometimes I could go weeks without thinking about this guy. Then it would be that period that something would trigger something in me to make me think about it. And then I stop and I'd be like, oh, war, it's me again. But I pick myself right back up again and I keep going. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You're going to have those days. Just like when I was climbing up that mountain in Hawaii, I had to stop at certain points, take my breath. I had to stop at certain points, drink a bottle of water. I had to stop at certain points and just hold my chest and pray and, ask the Lord not to let me die in front of my husband and child. It was stopping points that I had to take. But again, when I made it to the top, it was worth it. And I'm telling you, when you walk away from the toxic relationship, you may have some stopping points. You may have those days where you start crying again and when you start thinking about them again, or that stopping point where you want to pick up that phone and call. Don't do it. Just focus on your goal. I'm trying to get to the top of this mountain. And let me tell you, you can do it. All you have to do is call on God. Lord, help me. One thing about God, he will help us. God, help me to get out of this toxic relationship. Help me not to think about this person. Any residue of this person, sweep it out of my mind. Lord, give me victory, Lord God. Give me courage. Give me boldness. Give me the strength that I need to get to the top of the mountain so that I can see what life is like not being in a toxic relationship. And let me tell you something, ladies. When you begin to call on the Lord, he begins to answer. And I just hope that this message blesses somebody. Again, listen to those people that's close to you. Listen to your intuition. And no matter what, know that getting out of this toxic relationship is mandatory. And the view at the top is beautiful. With that being said, like I always say, be blessed and be better.